Welcome back, everyone. Today we are just traveling through Albuquerque, New Mexico. Also known as the Duke City or the 505, Albuquerque straddles the Rio Grande River and is over a mile high.
It is known for its high desert climate, outdoor recreation, and southwestern and Native American culture, along with its breathtaking displays of color at sunrise and sunsets.
I'm Celeste.
And I'm Terry.
In this video, we'll give you an overview of this southwestern city and its history and show you some of the top sights and things to do during your visit. We spent 10 days touring New Mexico.
And Albuquerque was our first stop.
Albuquerque sits at an elevation of about 5,300 feet.
Albuquerque has a population of 558,000, which is 4 times the population of the next largest city, which is Las Cruces.
Despite Albuquerque being the largest city by far, Santa Fe is actually the capital of New Mexico.
Santa Fe actually existed before Albuquerque. Santa Fe was founded in 1610 by the Spanish, so it became the natural location for the capital.
And when was Albuquerque founded?
Albuquerque was founded in 1706, almost 100 years after the founding of Santa Fe.
We flew into Albuquerque, and it might be one of the bumpiest rides we've ever had.
Albuquerque Airport has a unique position next to mountains, so the wind flowing off the mountains down across the desert leads to incredible air pockets.
Apparently, it's a fairly common thing for it to be windy here at this airport, so if you have any issues with flying, that's just something for you to know, and if you're flying in and not driving in. Albuquerque has a bit of an interesting history.
The original site was founded by Spanish colonists, led by Governor Francisco Cuervo y Valdez, and the site was named for the Duke of Albuquerque of Spain.
They settled along the banks of the Rio Grande River because they needed a water source, and the land there was fertile.
The river cuts through the center of Albuquerque, flowing north to south, dividing the city into 2 main parts, the east and west sides. The United States took over New Mexico in 1846 during the Mexican-American War. Following the war, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed in 1848, which officially ended the conflict. So from 1706 to 1848, the growth of Albuquerque was very slow, and it wasn't until the railroad arrived in 1880 that the city began to grow rapidly.
In fact, trains are still operating in Albuquerque today for both freight and passenger service.
It's a major stop on the Amtrak route from Omaha to Los Angeles. In the 20th century, Albuquerque's climate and open spaces attracted scientific research facilities, including the Sandia National Laboratories and Kirtland Air Force Base, establishing the city as a center for military and technological innovation during and after World War II. Albuquerque's building construction code has a height limit to avoid precluding views of the surrounding mountains. It's pretty sweet, actually, of them to do so. The height limit is 361 feet, and you can see in the center of this image that there is one building at 359 feet that almost scrapes the limit.
And some people might consider that a boring skyline, but I thought it was pretty nice to see the flat and then to see the Sandia peaks rising up.
It is. It makes it really great. That's a good picture there to show the mountains in the background.
They also are known for more than 800 movies or TV shows that have been filmed there.
For example, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
There's actually people that have maps online if you're a big Breaking Bad fan, and you can go out and look for these maps, and then you can do your own kind of self-guided tour. One of our favorite things in Albuquerque was to visit Sandia Peak. We love trams.
The Sandia Peak tram rises to an elevation of 10,378 feet, and it is the longest in North America at 2.7 miles.
The journey takes about 15 minutes. We were here in May, and it was quite cold on the top. We were not prepared for how cold it was going to be.
Yeah, you can see that we have sweaters on, but they were woefully inadequate at the top. It was easily low 30s, high 20s.
And the wind was blowing.
But the view from the top is absolutely mind-blowing. You can see over 11,000 square miles
on a clear day.
On a clear day.
It wasn't exactly clear when we were up there, but it was still pretty.
Amazingly so.
You can get your reservations for the tram online. One thing to note is that because of the wind, sometimes they will close it down, but you'll get your money back if they have to close it on the day that you have the reservation for. We waited until maybe the day before to make sure it was going to be okay. You know, we picked the day that we thought would be the least windy and went on that day. And then one of the cool things that people do when they go is there's a restaurant on top called 10-3.
That's the height of the elevation of the restaurant, 10,300 feet.
And so if you're able to get a reservation and you can take the tram up and then you can have a nice lunch before you take any hikes or see other stuff in the area.
Yeah, in fact, we would recommend you get a reservation at the restaurant because we didn't have one and we wound up not being able to get in and sit down.
You can see the restaurant here in this image, so you can tell that the views from there are going to be amazing.
We are approaching town too, so as always, we're going to fill some swing this way. So hold on to something or someone. Hopefully someone fell or you can make a new friend. And there we
Next up is Petroglyph National Monument,
where you will find over 24,000 etchings and rocks done by Native Americans and early Spanish settlers. Think of it as Indian graffiti.
in some ways, but it's storytelling. So when I was thinking of as graffiti, I started looking around, and it's basically was much more used for storytelling than what graffiti is used for today. But it's very fascinating, Petroglyph National Monument. They have a video that you can watch after you buy your tickets, which explains a lot of things. And where you actually visit and see the sites is not here at the Visitor Center.
The monument is laid out differently than others you may be used to. This actually occupies 3 distinctly different locations, and you have to drive back and forth to each one to see the entire thing.
You can see them here on the map. There's Piedras Marquesas Canyon, Boca Negra Canyon, Rinconada Canyon, and volcanoes. We recommend looking at the descriptions and picking the ones that fit your capabilities and interests. Now, the petroglyphs span over 17 miles along the volcanic rock escarpment.
We learned that each petroglyph tells a story representing cultural symbols and traditions.
The earliest petroglyphs are dated back to around AD 1000 to 1400, I think they said.
Yes, and they were created by the ancestral Puebloans and other Native American peoples who inhabited that area.
They were etched into the basalt rock formations of the West Mesa, and they have a whole bunch of different images. Some of them are animals, some are human figures, and some are just symbols that held cultural and spiritual significance for them.
Yeah, there's even some line of thought that some of them represent notations by family groups telling later family groups the direction they took.
The direction they took to get there?
Correct.
Another fun place to go in Albuquerque is Old Town.
This is the origin of Albuquerque. It first started here. It was the original city center. And modern day, current time Albuquerque just exploded away from that. So this area is kind of unique. It has a very old church.
The San Felipe de Neri Church, one of the city's oldest structures. And the whole area is kind of cool. There's it's touristy, right? There's shops and there's restaurants to go to, but it's a good place to spend a couple hours if you want to have lunch one afternoon.
Yeah, it is. It has that old-time plaza feel to it.
Word of caution is on Sunday, almost everything is closed, so try not to go on a Sunday.
Yeah, we had to walk, maybe a half mile to the nearest restaurant?
Being out there on Sunday, there wasn't a lot of choice, and we ended up eating at a place called Little Anita's.
Yeah, the food was quite good, prepared properly, and it was relatively inexpensive.
So if you've been to Albuquerque and you have a favorite restaurant, please put it in the comments below. The next time we go, we'd love to try some of them. We didn't have too many places that we tried, so we'd love to go back and try again, but let us know.
Yeah, please give us your input, and we'll give it a try next time we're there.
We always like to mix a little education with our exploring, so our next stop was the National Museum of Nuclear Science and History.
Yeah, speaking of somebody who grew up as an Air Force brat and then spent 4 years in the Navy, these kinds of museums are really very entertaining. This one was very thorough. It had a lot of nuclear history, information, and educational displays to teach everyone about what's transpired.
It also had a lot of unique exhibits on the Manhattan Project. And do you remember out back?
They had a couple of exhibits that were really kind of neat. They had a recreation of the Trinity Tower, where the first atomic bomb blast was conducted in New Mexico.
Overall, for anyone interested in this kind of thing, we thought it was worth a few hours.
It was very educational. Their displays were quite good and went into great detail about the history of nuclear power in this country.
And next on our list is the Balloon Festival. Now, we didn't actually get to go, but we wanted to provide it here for other people that would be interested. So it happens in October every year.
First started in 1972 with just 13 balloons and has since grown into a major event with over 500 balloons. Well, last year they had, in 2023, they had 900,000 plus visitors for the Balloon Festival.
They have what they call a mass ascension, which is one of the highlights of the festival, where hundreds of hot air balloons take to the skies at once. Now, we used to live in Dallas for a while, and do you remember they used to come fly right over the backyard of our house sometimes?
Yeah, it used to drive our dog crazy.
Yeah, you could hear the sound of the balloons, and it was really interesting. So I've always wanted to see this festival. It looks amazing, and they do say there are crowds, so you have to plan for that. You have to dress warmly because it can be cool in the morning. They also have different shaped balloons like you're seeing here.
Different competitions.
Yeah, it looks like a blast.
They fly day and night, so you can pick your category.
It's on the bucket list.
Definitely.
If anyone out there has been to the Balloon Festival, please put in the comments what your experience was and if you thought it was worth it. Now, if you can't actually visit the Balloon Festival itself, you can always go to the Anderson Abruzzo International Balloon Museum and learn all about the history of ballooning. That's what we have for Albuquerque. Please let us know if we've missed anything.
Yeah, please leave a comment if you think we should have included something.
And check out some of our other videos on our visit to New Mexico. They should be showing up right now. And thanks for watching.
Same bat time.
Same bad channel. Cheers!
Bye.